There we go, hammering again. Oh, it's just getting so easy. I've got them lined up, one after another. Another good fish. He's a bit angry, that one. I think I'll put him back in. Not going to hold him up. Welcome back to another YouTube video. So today's video, I'm at Lavender Hall Fishery. But today's video is not so much about where I'm fishing, but it's about fishing luncheon meat. So last night, I cut up some luncheon meat, 1 tin of luncheon meat. I'm only planning to fish about 2-3 hours today. I just want to come along, get a few bites to see if I catch a few carp. So I've cut these up into around between 6 and 8 mil square. Now, I don't use a meat cutter. I've done another video on this before. I'm just not sure if it's necessary to use a meat cutter. If you're on absolute position, sort of 6 mils or 8 mils, then fine, use one. But I think just cutting them up, there or thereabouts, a carp isn't going to come along and think, well, that's 1 mil smaller than the other one. I'm not going to have that. They're just not going to do it, right? So I just cut them up to the eye at around between 6 and 8 mil. It gives me variety, right? If I want a larger one on it or a smaller one. Now, I've only got, like I say, 1 tin, and I'm going to see how many carp I can catch using luncheon meat. I'm going to finish getting set up. I haven't put any bait in yet, but they're still in my bag from last night. I'm going to pop these in my pot, and hopefully we're going to catch a few carp. Okay, just very quickly, just going to show you the rig. I mean, it's really straightforward. I've got my 13 to 15 SRG elastic on today. I've talked about this on a few videos now. I've been trialing this all year. Well, I say all year, since around sort of June time. SRG elastic, it's a fraction of the price of your main sort of brands these days. So have a look online for SRG if you want to give an alternative a go. I'll definitely go for the hollow elastic. It definitely seems to be something I think is a better one, but it's been working absolutely fine all summer, catching some absolute lumps on this. So this is the 13 to 15. It's I'm not quite sure what the colour is when it says on the packet now off the top of my head, but it's like a bluey colour. Now, in terms of the main line, I'm just going for my trusted 0.19 mil diameter main line. I'm going to be fishing for carp today, so I'm expecting anything between 3 to 6 pound carp. Who knows, there are some bigger ones in here. So I've just got literally just plumbed up just over 4 foot. I've got 4 foot 2 inches of depth. I have got a 4x14 float on. I'd probably go for something a little bit bigger really, but I'm going to stick with that for now because that's what I've set up. All the way down to the hook length. Again, I got a 0.16 mil diameter hook length on down to a 14 hook. Like I say, I'm fishing with meat today, so a 14 hook, just hooking it through the corner of the meat is going to be absolutely fine. In terms of my shotting pattern, I've just got 3 number 8s as a bulk shot, and then I've got a number 8 below that, 3 inches below it. Then I've got 2 number 9s as droppers as well. So I'm going to be fishing on the bottom. I might even bulk that up a little bit more, but I'm going to start off with that little bulk shot and then the 3 droppers there. So yeah, I'm going to see now how long it takes to catch a carp. So I'm just going to put a bit of meat on the hook. So I'm just literally hooking that through the corner, and then I'm going to pot in 4 cubes of meat. So I've got 4 in there, and then we're going to see how long it takes. Hopefully this is not going to take long. So this is the first put in. Now they'll either be in the swim or they won't, and if they're not, we might have to wait a little while. So probably about 5 minutes ago as I was setting up, there was a couple of carp sort of just cruising around just a little bit further out, so I know that they're certainly up in the water. So like I say, I've got a 4x14 float on today. I would probably have gone for something like more of a 4x16 with just being over 4 foot, but I think I'll be able to get away with it today. I'm quite comfortable with that. There's no tow, there's no wind, we've not got anything at the moment that's going to cause us a problem. So But obviously if that changes throughout the day, I might have to just change and up my rig to a bigger float, but I think we'll be okay just for the few hours we're fishing today. There we go, got a bite. Oh, that's only a little ding, just went under, might have been a small roach. But I am going to put a little trimming shot on because it's just a little bit out of the water further than what I would like there. So I'm going to put that. I don't really want any more weight, down by my hook length there. So I'm going to just put that underneath the float. So having a little trimming shot underneath the float is not a bad thing because it actually gives you a sort of marker of your depth. So if you get caught up in a big fish or you a snag at any point, and you can always check that depth is still correct. So I'm going to put in, again, I'm putting in 3 bits of meat there. I'm going to put, again, just hooking it through the corner. So that bite didn't take long, but it definitely wasn't a carp. So put those in. Definitely wasn't a carp because it was just, the float just went under, just under the water a little bit, and it sort of just stayed there. It didn't bury itself. If it was a carp, it would have just hammered it away, and it would have just, float would have shot under. There we go. I've just put that little trimming shot on. There we go. That I'm a bit more comfortable now. I've probably got about half of my bristle showing, so it's just right. There we go. There we go. It's only a small carp, I think. Little dink of the float, and then it shot under. That was coming in nicely, and then it's just decided to shoot out. So that's taken us about, I've been fishing for 15 minutes, had a few bites. Felt like they were just small fish because just little dinks of the float. The float wasn't really wasn't a positive bite, but that one, little dink of the float, then it just absolutely buried. So let's see if we can get this one in. Like I said, I don't think it's a big fish, but they do fight really well in here. I've had some fish before, only £3, and they've took me on a right old merry run around the lake. So fishing with meat at this time of year, in the middle of October, I do find that when venues allow it, it is just a deadly bait, because we're getting to the stage where carp are gonna, in another month's time, they're gonna start slowing down. But I think they do feel that the temperature's changing, and they do start to feed quite well. There we go, got his head up. Lovely fish to start off with. There we go. Let's move that out of the way. So let me see if I can hold him up. That lovely fish. Nice way to start the day. Probably give myself, what, I don't know, maybe £4 for that one. Okay, so let's go again. So we caught that carp. So another bit of meat on the hook. And put in 4 pieces of meat. So just put those 4 pieces of meat in, lay my rig over the top, let it straighten up, and then drop the float in. And let's see if there's any more carp there. Oh, we got a bite straight away. That's definitely a small fish. But it goes to show that even with fishing sort of probably anything between 6 and 8 mil bits of luncheon meat, you can catch little fish, little stocky. But how great is that? Even these smaller ones will take those bits of meat. Let's get him back in. So again, I'm just going to keep doing what I always say on these videos is once you start getting the bites, just keep that routine going. It's why change it? You're getting bites, so a bit of meat on the hook, putting in 4 pieces either after every bite or every fish. It doesn't really matter. You're just doing that routine and keeping it going in, putting them in, just letting the rig, put the rig in, let it straighten up, and then as it straightens up, just let the float drop in straight over the top of where your loose bait is. So those smaller bites we were getting right at the beginning, I think I had probably 4 or 5 that I missed. It was probably those small stockies, or they were definitely, you know, smaller stockies or small roach, which is what I probably thought. Again, that bite then, it was only just a little, sort of went under and just slowly went under. Those proper carp are going to really hammer it. There we go, another fish on. So this is going to be a good session today. That's not a big fish at all. Not even stripped any elastic back yet. So, oh, having said that, it's a bit bigger than I thought. It's probably about a pound, pound and a half. Might be an F1. No. Come here. There we go. So the hooks come out and just put that pole down. Just absolutely spot on, straight in the top lip again. And I think that is like the difference sometimes when you're fishing too much over depth, or if you're like I am, just literally 1 inch on the bottom. And it's a difference between hooking them in that top lip, or sometimes I'm swallowing it, or at the side. Okay, so hopefully we're going to catch a few more bigger ones in a minute. Okay, so just going to keep repeating this process for now. Putting in 4 bits of meat. Just let the rig drop in. Let that hook bait drop down to the bottom. When the line straightens up, just drop the float in over the top. So we just potted those 4 bits of meat in. Let's see how long it now takes us. So in my head, I'm going to start counting and see if we can catch one within the next minute. Oh, counted to 11 and missed a bite. So, I'm just going to keep repeating it until we catch our next carp. So this time, I'm just going to reduce that down to 3 pieces of meat this time, because I'm getting bites, but I'm missing them, and I want to work out why that is. And is it because there's probably, you know, 5 or 6 fish in the swim, and they're just coming in, picking at it. They're not really taking it. I just want to try and see if reducing that bait just makes them a bit more competitive. Let's see what happens. Right, so wait for that rig to settle properly. There, so now I'm going to count, see how long it takes. And count my head. Oh, 11. There we go. So 11 seconds. So on other videos, and you've probably seen it on other videos that other people do about timings when you're like feeder fishing, and I think pole fishing is just exactly the same. It's just a different style of fishing. So your timings of how often you're feeding and how often the bites are coming are, I think, equally as important as if you're fishing a method feeder or whatever it may be. So I mean, those 2 bites then came on 11 seconds. So that is what's happening in my swim. They're coming in, they're seeing those few bits of meat, and then I'm getting the bite. Again, not a big fish, but you know, if you keep regularly catching these ones around sort of £2 a go, then you're soon going to build a weight up, and it's a really easy way of fishing. The hook come out there, and there we go. Absolutely lovely fish. I mean, like I say, not a big fish, but I'm happy of how the swim is going. I know what's going on in the swim, so I'm going to repeat that again. Just hooking a piece of meat in the corner, got a size 14 hook on. I'm going to put in 3 pieces of meat, ship that out, find my fire bank marker, just pop those in, bring my rig over the top, just flick it out, and then just let it drop in over where I've potted in those loose offerings. Let the line straighten up. And just drop that floating over the top. So again, just going to let that settle for a second or 2. There we go. And now I'm going to count again in my head, see how long it takes to get that next bite. There we go. Fish on. I don't think this one is as big as that last one. Strip some elastic back. Yeah, I don't think it's as big. But it's hard to say sometimes. It feels definitely a bit ploddy. Yeah, certainly not big, but I think he's probably certainly 3 to 4 pound. There we go. Let's get him in. Get the hook out. Look at that. That is bang in the top lip. That just tells me I've got my plumbing up bang on. Like I say, I plumbed up at the bottom of that body of the float. Just pop that down, and let's see if I can hold this one up for you. There we go. Another quality carp on me. It's popping back in. But there you go, guys. That's the end of today's video. Hopefully you've learned something new. It's been a really good session today. I've been catching carp, catching F1s, really good quality F1s as well, fishing with meat. It's a really good technique. It's a deadly technique this time of year. But if you've never tried it before, get out there. If your fishery allows it, give it a go. It's really simple. So if you've learned something new today, guys, or you enjoyed this video, please do leave a comment at the bottom of the video. It'd be really massive help to the channel. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, tight lines.